The Trailways bus station. U.S. Route 1, also known as Highway 301, stretches from Kent, Maine, all the way down to Miami, Florida. In the state of Virginia, it goes through Washington, D.C., Richmond, and Petersburg. In the 1920s, commercial bus lines were introduced. There were some people that used those as a primary form of long-distance transportation. In 1946, the Trailways bus line commissioned a terminal to be built on the corner of South Adams and Washington Street. This building was constructed in the Art Modern style. It has a curved front entryway. Those curves are topped by an aluminum hood. Over top of that aluminum hood is an illuminated Trailway sign. The building has two doors that are spaced, about 8 feet apart. This building was built during segregation, was designed specifically to keep the races apart. You were a white traveler coming from Washington Street. You went in the front door. Directly in front of you was the ticket booth where you would buy your ticket, and there was a baggage claim area right behind that. On the left-hand wall was the white-only waiting area. That waiting area, against the left-hand wall, were two restrooms, the boarding platform, and next to the ticket booth was a lunch counter. If you were a colored traveler, and in those days colored was not just black, colored was any race that wasn't white. So if you were considered to be colored, you would have to go in through the right door. The ticket counter was still right in front of you, but the colored-only waiting room was on the right-hand side. That had a set of bathrooms and no lunch counter. It also had a boarding platform. So if you're traveling, you want to get something to eat. If you're white, you can go into the lunch counter, you can order your sandwich, you can sit at the counter, you can have your... If you were a colored traveler and you were hungry, it was a different story. You were not allowed to go into that lunch area and order something, not even to go. You had to go outside of the building, walk around to the back kitchen door, and place your order there, where they would give you your sandwich or your meal, and then you could sit outside and eat. Or I guess bring it inside. I don't know what the rule was as far as after you got your sandwich. But I know this much, if you were colored, you couldn't sit at the lunch counter. Boarding the bus, it kind of worked like this. The bus would pull in the back of the building, which is now the parking lot. If you were a colored traveler, you would come out of the building, right-hand side, go into the bus, and you were required to sit in the back. If you were a white traveler, you came out of the left-hand door after the colored passengers were seated, and then you got the seats in the front. It was actually up to the bus driver to determine what your race was, and if it was a situation, like say for example, you're light-skinned, or you're from a different ethnic persuasion, you're talking to your lighter-skinned friend, the bus driver says, hey, I don't want you guys sitting together, I don't want you guys talking together. Yeah. If you got pissy with him, he could kick you off the bus and actually get you arrested. Unbelievable. In February of 1960, we had a lunch counter sit-in, followed by a sit-in at the library. That was followed by sit-ins at the bus station. In late March, early April 1960, there was a sit-in occurring at the Trailway station. Trailways management turned off the electricity. It was cold, it was dark, it was raining, and what the protesters did was took apart the benches in the white-only seating area, set them on fire in the middle of the... In August of 1960, Bryce Wagner of the Trailways restaurant management team instated a new rule that clearly said that you were not to be denied food service in any of the bus stations because of your color. Oh shit. That one simple signature made the Petersburg Trailways bus station one of the first integrated lunch counters in the state of Virginia. November that same year, all public buildings in Petersburg were integrated. In 1961, a group of 15 volunteers left Washington, D.C. on a bus tour of the South. Their second stop was in Petersburg. This group was known as the Freedom Riders, and they expected to come into a bus station in the South finding fireworks and protests and everything that you don't want. What they found instead was a bus station that had been integrated for almost a year. Everybody was getting along just fine. They took a walk down the street, had a service at Bethany Baptist, got back on the bus, where they did encounter exactly what they were expecting. The further south it went, the worse things got. The Trailways bus station was in operation until the mid-'80s, when it was closed and donated to the city, who in turn boarded it up. And the Trailways bus station is now home to the Griffin Lounge, where they offer the ultimate coffee experience, the only Ethiopian blend in the city, a Moroccan lemonade, which is to die for, freshly baked pastries, and this Friday, November 28th, 2025, they've invited me to have a book signing, so come and see me and my book, Historic Petersburg. I'll be there from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. I hope to see you there.